Imagine a woman who, after an argument, stops sending impulsive messages. She puts the phone down, breathes deeply, goes for a walk. And for the first time, she no longer feels the need to chase an explanation. That small silence completely changes the energy of the situation. As Coco Chanel once said, elegance is refusal. And many times, feminine silence is also emotional elegance. The second power of feminine silence is that silence regulates the nervous system. We live in an era where women are constantly overstimulated. Emotional noise, opinions, social media, conflict, constant pressure. And when the nervous system remains activated for too long, the body produces more cortisol, more anxiety, and more emotional exhaustion. That is why so many women react impulsively when they are emotionally tired. Not because they are weak, but because their nervous system has lost space to rest. And this is where silence becomes medicine. Because silence allows the body to calm down. It allows the mind to slow down. It allows women to hear thoughts that are normally drowned by external noise. Some women discover more clarity in 10 minutes of silence than in hours of trying to argue with someone. Imagine a woman who begins turning her phone off at night, who stops responding immediately, who learns how to be alone without feeling empty. Little by little, her anxiety begins decreasing, because silence also heals. As Virginia Woolf once said, one cannot think well, love well, sleep well, if one has not dined well. And perhaps today we could add, neither can a woman live well without moments of inner silence. The third power of feminine silence is that silence reveals the truth about people. When a woman stops chasing, many masks fall. Because while a woman is constantly available, explaining, searching, insisting, many people become accustomed to receiving her energy without truly making an effort to care for her. But when she becomes silent, she observes. And in that space, she discovers who genuinely seeks her, who truly listens to her, and who only enjoyed the attention she was giving. Silence has a powerful way of revealing intentions. Imagine a woman who stops texting first for a few weeks. Suddenly, she discovers who truly desired her presence and who was only responding out of habit. Sometimes silence does not push away the right people. It only exposes the wrong ones. As Frida Kahlo once said, "Where you cannot love, do not stay." And many times, silence is the first step toward leaving places where peace no longer exists. The fourth power of feminine silence is that silence strengthens presence. There's a huge difference between a woman who desperately needs to be heard and a woman who speaks from calmness. The second woman radiates emotional authority, because confident women do not need to fill every space with words. They do not need impulsive reactions to prove strength. Their energy speaks before their voice does, and people feel it. Think about those women who walk into a room and immediately transmit serenity without needing to say much. Women whose presence feels stable, elegant, grounded. That does not come from noise. It comes from inner connection. Many of the most powerful women are also the calmest ones, because they understood that true strength does not always need volume. As Audrey Hepburn once said, "Elegance is the only beauty that never fades." And feminine silence, when held with grace, carries an elegance impossible to ignore. The fifth power of feminine silence is that silence helps women return to themselves. Because many women spend years listening so much to everyone else that they stop listening to themselves. They listen to opinions, expectations, criticism, demands, and slowly they disconnect from their own inner voice. But silence creates space. Space to ask yourself what you truly want, what you truly need, what you no longer wish to tolerate. Some women discover their true identity after heartbreak, after loss, after a season of deep silence. Because when external noise fades away, they finally begin finding themselves again. Imagine a woman sitting alone in silence after years of emotional exhaustion. At first, the silence feels uncomfortable. Then it begins feeling like rest. And slowly, she stops fearing her own company. That changes everything. As Clarissa Pinkola Estes once said, "Strong women are born through dark nights." And many of those dark nights are also filled with silence. The final power of feminine silence is that silence teaches peace. Because eventually emotionally mature women understand something important. They do not need to react to everything. They do not need to win every argument. They do not need to constantly prove they are right. And that understanding brings immense peace. Because wise women learn to choose carefully where they place their energy. They learn that some battles cost too much emotionally. They learn that tranquility is more valuable than pride. And from there, they begin living differently, lighter, clearer, calmer. Because true feminine power is not always loud. Sometimes true feminine power is simply a woman who finally learned how to remain calm. And if something you heard today resonated with you, there's more wisdom here every week. Walk this path with us. Welcome to Sophia Stoica.